This is Pavel from MinIO. In this module, we will talk about AIStor Catalog. After finishing this module, you will be able to explain what catalog is, why we need it, how to use it, how to enable it, how to filter objects using the catalog, and how to write advanced queries using your favorite language. First, let's answer a simple question. Why catalog? Imagine you have a bucket with 1 million objects, and you want to answer a simple question, like how many objects are larger than 5 megabytes, or how many objects were added in the recent 3 months. The way to answer your question is to list all the objects, to read their metadata, to parse it, to find the creation time, and compare that creation time with the one which you specified in the query. And then each time you want to answer a similar question, you have to repeat all these operations. But you've got an idea. What if you create a database and you store all the metadata of all the objects in this bucket in the database? Then each time you add a new object, you will add its metadata to the database. Then you create a simple API for the database and you run your queries against it and you answer your questions. It's a pretty good idea. The good news is that MinIO has done it all for you. When you create a catalog in a bucket, it creates a database, it scans all the objects in the bucket and stores their metadata in the database. Then you can use GraphQL interface to run your queries against that metadata. And you can also use GraphQL with your favorite programming language to create more advanced queries and to automate those queries. What kind of queries you can use? Any kind of queries, starting with a simple filter like searching for a specific word in the title of the object, or searching for a specific size, searching for a specific creation time. You can even use your user metadata for the objects. For example, you have a bucket with your photos and you want to find all the objects with the label vacation. Or you have a bucket with your checkpoints for your machine learning model and you want to find all the checkpoints with the label ResNet50, for example. How to deploy a catalog? The simplest way is to enable it when you create a bucket. You just click Enable Catalog, and then it's done. What if you have already created some buckets and you want to enable after the fact? You go to the bucket menu, you click Enable Catalog, you confirm it on the next screen, click Enable Catalog, and your catalog is ready. How to use a catalog? The simplest way is to show all the objects in the bucket. You click Apply All Filters, and by default, it shows all the objects in the bucket. In this bucket, we collected some PDF files with white papers, which I downloaded from the MinIO website. And as you can see, there are 25 white papers in this bucket. What if we add another condition to this query? For example, show me only the PDFs which have MinIO in the title. And you click Apply All Filters, and you see that there are 12 objects with MinIO in the title. So far, so good. What if we add another condition, show me only the files which are larger than 1 megabyte? You specify this condition in the filter, click Apply All Filters, and then you see that there are 6 objects which satisfy all the conditions. More than that, we can use advanced queries, and for that we use GraphQL. GraphQL is a query language for API, and you can maybe compare it to REST API. If you want to see similarities and differences, you can search for REST API versus GraphQL, and you find a lot of information about it. In our case, we use a simple editor, simple query editor for that. And as you can see, we specify in the filter that we want to see only the files, only the objects with performance in the title. And below that filter, as you can see, we specify which fields of each object we want to see in the output. In this case, we want to see the key and the size. And as you can see on the right-hand side, we have a list of objects with their titles or their keys and their sizes. But more than that, we can add another field which is called user metadata. And as you can see on the right-hand side, you can see that we have many different fields for user metadata. We can specify the author of this PDF. We can specify the number of pages. We can specify the creation date and the version and keywords and all kinds of user metadata. But the good news is that we can not only display this metadata, but we can also use it to search certain labels. Like, for example, in this case, we are searching for all the objects which have 3 pages in their PDF. And as you can see in the output, we see the PDF with exactly 3 pages. And as you can imagine, you can add user metadata to each of your objects, and then you can use it to filter them in the advanced query. What if you want to automate all these queries? You can use your favorite language, and you can use GraphQL library for that language. You can specify similar queries, for example, in your Python scripts. Now it's time for the checkpoint. I have a couple of simple questions. Question number 1. When do you create a catalog? And the options are when deploying AIStor, when creating a bucket, when creating an object store, and when adding your first object to a bucket. And of course, you know that the right answer is when you create a bucket. Another simple question, can we use custom metadata to add to our objects and to use it to filter those objects? And of course, the answer is yes, you just learned about that. In summary, we have just covered what catalog is and why we need it, how to use it for basic filtering and basic queries, how to use it for advanced queries, and how to automate those advanced queries with your favorite languages. If you want to reach out to us, use our Slack, use our Twitter account, use our GitHub, and see you in the next module. Thank you.